大谷翔平選手が1番 DH で先発出場したドジャースとブルージェイズのワールドシリーズ第5戦、ドジャースは1対6で敗戦し対戦成績は2勝3敗へ、連敗崖っぷちの状況に追い込まれました。大谷選手は4打数無安打で2戦連続ノーヒットに終わり、不振のチーム打線も深刻な状況です。追い込まれたチームを現地解説陣はどう見ているのか、試合後の現地放送を翻訳してお届けいたします。
Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Mercury Insurance. John Hartung, Nomar Garcia-Parra, and Oral Hershiser. Game 5 of the World Series, the final home game at Dodger Stadium in 2025, and nothing went right for the Dodgers tonight in this one. The Blue Jays hit back-to-back home runs off of Blake Snell to start this game, and they never looked back. And we talked on the pregame show about the Dodgers' offensive struggles coming into this game, and boy, Trey Savage just carved them up for 7 innings, had 12 strikeouts, the most in World Series history by a rookie pitcher. And now, Nomar, the Dodgers will head to Toronto, needing to win 2 games.
I mean, they really just got beaten every facet of the game. I mean, from a starting pitching staff, Savage really kept the hitters off balance. The offense for the Dodgers couldn't figure out anything. On the flip side, you look at the way the Blue Jays offense just rolled. I mean, every single starter reached base in this game. 8 of the 9 starters got hits in this game. The top 4, the table setters, they got it done. They reached base combined 8 times, just all around. And I think for the Dodgers, they are searching from an offensive perspective to try to get something going, because they truly have been struggling over the course of these last few games and in this postseason, but they're trying to find some sort of life. But listen, there still is life left. They get to go back, but man, their back's against the wall.
Yeah, there's life and there's chances, and they've got a chance to flip the narrative. Right now, the narrative is in Toronto's favor. Really, they are the tougher team. They are the one playing with poise. They are the one sending a youngster out there and having him execute. But you can be mad right now, and I know the organization and the team is mad, and you're frustrated, but you can turn that around with 1 win in the next game, and you have your ace pitcher on the mound in Yamamoto. So I still see a lot of hope, but I also see a lot of disappointment from tonight. There wasn't a lot of clean defense behind Blake Snell. He threw the ball pretty well after those first 3 pitches, which 2 ended up being home runs. And after that, he kept them in the game. But there was some defense there that could have been a little bit tighter, kept his pitch count down. Maybe he doesn't come out of the game. The bullpen doesn't have to come in. And all of a sudden, you have a little chance of coming back.
We talked on the pregame show about the Dodgers facing Trey Savage for the 2nd time. They just saw him 5 days ago, Oral, and we wondered, does the advantage go to the pitcher? Does it go to the hitter? And we thought, since the Dodgers saw that high release point, they saw his splitter and everything he has 5 days ago, that maybe they have a better chance against him tonight, and it was the complete opposite.
Well, I mean, Nomar will speak on this, but I am not a hitter. But when I watch this young man's release point and what the pitches do, they do completely opposite of any other split finger, of any other slider. It really is not even a slider. It's got this bullet spin, and it either goes straight down or sometimes even goes backwards. Very rarely does it go right to left from a right-handed pitcher. This young man, if he stays healthy and he can throw from that angle and he can keep this spin the way it is going and make it do opposite of everybody else in the league, he's going to be very hard to hit for a long time.
Yeah, a lot of times that guys that have that high release point. So what's our approach? We said you can look up, and you look about having to really try to get on top of that ball. We really can't try to start lifting it, because it's really hard to stop your barrel down and then try to catch it up on the up. It's really difficult, and we see a lot of those swings. I think we saw a lot of swings and misses under that loopy swing that we see from these hitters they're just trying to find it. It's that same loopy swing that we see not only against Savage, but we saw that against other pitchers. That's why you look at the Dodgers having so many fly balls over the course of this World Series, and the amount of pop-ups that they have. It's been really loopy, being underneath the ball and popping that up. And it's a really bad combination when you have a guy with a high release point that pitches on top of the zone with that same loopy swing, and then they have stuff that actually just darts out of it the way it was. They really had no answer for that with that loopy swing, rather than trying to just get short and try to put it in place somehow. We often see the Blue Jays do that, shorten up when guys maybe just trying to find out and put it in play to put the pressure on. We didn't see too many of those swings today.
Why does it compound his stuff? when your swing it has a little too much length and too much loop in it.
Well, a lot of times you want to be able to keep the barrel above the ball, above your hands as long as possible, and then allow gravity to naturally fall into the zone rather than trying to get in there too soon, and then all of a sudden your barrel's down and you notice that pitch is higher than when you anticipated and you're trying to catch up.
That's why
your
we hit all
barrel
those
can't
pop-ups.
go down. Exactly right. Starting down to come up, you're going to be popping up, missing it, rather than starting slightly up. The barrel will fall into the zone that you need to, but even if it's a little higher, your barrel's already starting there rather than it starting below and trying to, you just can't do it.
Well, it was a tough night for the Dodgers offense outside of one swing of the bat by Kiké Hernandez. Nomar, Savage really wasn't under much stress the entire night with those 12 strikeouts. He didn't walk anybody. Impeccable command, and Dodgers just couldn't do anything with him.
Yeah, he was in full control. It looked like he, no matter what he was throwing, whether it was the off-speed, fastball, he looked like he said, I can really just throw anything up there, and I trust my stuff, and I know the natural movement. And listen, he does have good stuff. I'm not just saying this is all the Dodgers hitters, but I think what we've seen over the course of this postseason, though, from offense to collectively, the issues. So the issues that they've had came into this game with a pitcher like this, and it really is magnified and manifests itself even greater. And he was able to take advantage of it, and he was on point. They didn't have a solution for him. You also got to tip your hat to Savage. He was outstanding, like you said, not walking anybody. The poise he had coming in, also pitching on the road. He hasn't pitched on the road. He's pitched only in Toronto, but man, was he poised and he got the job done.
Well, Oral, you mentioned it. Not the cleanest game for the Dodgers defensively. Had a couple plays that won't go down as errors, but proved to be costly in this game, and also 4 wild pitches. It just wasn't, from a presentation standpoint, what you would like in the World Series.
No, and you wouldn't like this in any game, and it would be something they need to clean up, whether it was in Game 1 or Game 162 or in the playoffs in the World Series. And there are some balls that were hit that should have turned into more outs. There were some balls that were hit that shouldn't have turned into so many bases. And for Blake Snell, that becomes rough because he had already felt like he needed to do more because he gave up the home runs early, the first 2 hitters. But Mookie's feed to second, I thought even Tommy Edman on a ground ball was a possible double play. He kind of handcuffed himself at the beginning of it, so it was late getting to first. What Teo did in right field, the wild pitches, as you mentioned, you know, it was not a very clean defensive game. You could come out of this game and say, oh, there were no errors. But if you look at it as a big league organization, you would say we left a lot of outs and gave extra 90 feet an awful lot tonight.
On the defensive side, you could say, okay, we didn't have any errors. We didn't allow any errors, but it wasn't a clean defensive game. Yeah. And they would look at themselves and say that, because it's a little bit different if sometimes you find yourself giving an extra base, whatever it may be. And I think we did that, as you mentioned, that trying to maybe keep it in a single or double gives them that extra base sacrifice fly and that ball into the outfield with nobody out at the time, and some of those other plays. And then also those wild pitches as well don't help. So everything just kind of manifests itself. I think when the Dodgers look at it, they're like, listen, we didn't play well. We didn't pitch as great as we maybe could have or in the past. We didn't play clean defensively, and they beat us up, and they took advantage of that, full advantage, and they beat us up. And we really got to find a way to turn the page and say we just got to get something collectively as a team going from the offensive side, because right now it really is the offense, the two offenses. It's totally night and day, from approach to passing the baton to collective at bats, quality at bats. You see that regularly from the Blue Jay side, and Dodgers are trying to find it.
And we saw this Dodgers offense, Nomar, from July through August, about a 2-month stretch. They were among the worst offenses in all of baseball. But you look at the numbers throughout the regular season, the Toronto Blue Jays had the highest batting average in all of baseball this year, the second fewest strikeouts as an offense in all of baseball. They scored the second most runs in the American League, and they have kept on hitting here in the postseason, and they've beaten good pitchers. They beat Max Fried. They put 7 runs on Max Fried, and now twice against Blake Snell, they've gotten 5 against them. Blue Jays hitting, their offense has just been spectacular all year.
That's why batting average matters. That's why hits are not, also walk isn't just as good as a hit. A hit is way better than a walk. A lot of things happen when you're able to put that ball in play, even when you're going through struggles, even when you have slumps, because you're going to have them over the course of the season. It is natural. But collectively as a team, when they go, okay, but at the very least, I'm going to fight and put this in play. I maybe not being a slump, not getting on base or not getting my hits, but am I striking out an awful lot? If I can limit that, I'm giving myself a chance. And then when there is those critical moments, such as going into the postseason, when you may not be feeling right, and listen, we've been there, but they at least go, I can battle and put the ball in play. I can put some pressure on that defense. I can maybe make things happen. I can maybe move a guy over 90 feet. I can have a productive out. All of those things, and we've seen it from this offense right from the Blue Jays. Yeah. It's like little things like, man, it's like it seems like there's that struggle, like that was a tough play. All of a sudden there's this infield hit. It wasn't hit very hard, right? But man, there's a man on base. Now there's another guy in scoring position. When it's magnified in the postseason, you defensively, you feel it even more and are like, man, this is hairy. The pitcher also feels it as well, maybe gets a little tight. That sets up, all of a sudden they get that big hit when they need it.
No matter what you see on the data, no matter what you see on the hot cold zones from the whole season, when all of a sudden you're getting ready for this game and for this opponent, you really have to look at the present tense more than the overall data. And a lot of them are covering their bad spots. A lot of them are not chasing when they used to be chasers. A lot of them are laying off pitches on the corners and waiting for your mistake. And so it really has been tough on the pitchers, I think, to say, where is the hole? They're so hot throughout 1 through 9 in a way of their approach. They're not all getting hits, but in their approach, they are hot in a way that they are continually putting pressure on you to continue to execute your pitches.
Well, and speaking of the Dodgers pitching to those Blue Jays hitters, Oral, Blake Snell, 3 pitches into the game, is down 2-0, gives up back-to-back home runs. And I imagine for a starting pitcher, there's so much excitement about getting the ball, and he talked about it before the game. That has to be quite a jolt to you to give up back-to-back homers to start it.
Well, there's one pitch that he wanted to establish, and that was the inside fastball to righties. And when you all of a sudden throw it in there and they hit it for home runs within the 2 home runs within the first 3 pitches, that was his plan, I think, was to speed them up early, especially the righties, and then get back to his curveball, his slider, and his changeup. But they didn't allow him to go first pitch fastball or for a few pitches in there on speed, get sped up. They actually barreled him up, and that made it very tough on him early on. Then after that, when those 2 hitters came back around at the top of the order, he was using his curveball, his slider, his changeup. He didn't even really want to show him the fastball at all.
You know, we've seen Yamamoto give up one early and then all of a sudden shut it down. So, and Blake Snell has the stuff and the mentality and the fight and the compete to do that. I thought early on, all right, you gave up that first one. You gave up to so what? Because you need to score anyway. You know, you think you're like saying, okay, we're going to win this game 1-0. You're not going to win the game 1-0, not against an offense like the Blue Jays. So the offense is we got to pick up our pitcher up there, give them some confidence. Like, listen, so what? Too early on, go out there. We know you can shut them down and give us a chance. And listen, Snell competed out there. He may not have his best stuff, his sharpest stuff, but he still competed out there. Didn't really have a lot of clean innings. The Blue Jays put some pressure on him. When you look at Snell going, 6 complete at the very least. I know he came out there in the 7th, but at the same time, of the 6 complete, there was only 1, 2, 3 inning and all that. So there was always somebody on traffic putting some pressure on there. That's what they do. But at the same time, he still, as he competed, to try to allow this offense to try to find a way to get back in this game. And the Savage said no to that.
All right, Game 5 goes to the Blue Jays 6-1. Let's go inside and hear from Freddie Freeman with Kirsten Watson.
Freddie, ahead of the game, we talked about the offensive struggles. When you guys see a game like this, 4 hits, the only run was Kiké's home run. I mean, was it something that Trey Savage was doing, or is this something that the offense is just missing right now?
It was a 180 on his command from the first game. He had everything working tonight. But, again, still got to put some runs on the board and do a better job, and we just haven't done that for about 2.5 games.
You guys have been in this situation before, backs against the wall, looking to win this series. I mean, you're obviously not out of it. Is there a conversation as you guys travel to Toronto to find a way to get things going?
I think it's kind of speaks for itself that they just played a better game than us tonight. Balls and dirts they were on. Guys in scoring position, they're getting them in. They just pitched really good too. So they just outplayed us today.
I know it was like the regular season when you guys were struggling hitting, but what did you learn from that point of time that maybe you can apply to try to turn things around for Game 6 and 7?
We all know what we're capable of, and we haven't done it for 2 games. So maybe day off will cool them down over there, and will reunite us.
Is it a carryover all from the 18 innings, or is that something where it's just they kind of just responded better the last couple days?
They just played better baseball the last 2 days. I don't think anybody's thinking about a game 2 days ago. It's just plain and simple. They just played better than us today.
There's a lot of character on this clubhouse. What do you like about this team to lean into?
Yeah, I mean, we faced this last year. We were down 2-1 to the Padres and won 2 games in a row, so we can do it again.
Freddie, you talked a lot about the offense needing to kind of come alive your pregame. Do you have any, considering the talent of your lineup, do you have any surprise that this is what the offense is?
I mean, when you go into this game, you attack a lane, and our lane today was up against Savage, and it was just a complete 180 from game one. His command was pinpoint tonight. We were fighting that lane, and he was still getting the slider and the splitter down below the zone for strikes, and that was the difference from game one. He had a lot of non-competitive misses in game one, and today he didn't have that. And credit to him, that was a really good game pitched by him and Sir Anthony and Jeff. And baseball is a hard game, and it's been hard for us the last 2 days. But like we said, we've been in this situation before, like we were last year, and we can do it again.
Your backs are against the wall, but how good does it feel to know that Yamamoto's pitching for you guys now?
I mean, yeah, we feel really good about our starting pitching and our pitching staff. So we're going to need Yoshi to do it again, and hopefully as an offense we can score some more runs for him.
In addition, you Savage's splitter better this time around?
It's all command. He just had command. He was able to throw up for strikes on 0-0. He wasn't able to do that in game one. So it was all command tonight. When you get strike one and get ahead of us, it's really hard to hit.
You talked about, being down 2-1 to the Padres, but how much of that experience that you guys have as a team, you won a World Series last year, knowing the confidence going into a Game 6 situation?
Yeah, we're confident. We know who we are. We know we got to play better baseball, and we'll try to do that in 2 days.
Freddie, is there any way you guys are trying to become the first repeat champions in a long time?
We're just trying to play a good baseball game right now. If you're thinking about trying to win something that's 2 wins away, then you're thinking about the wrong thing. We need to worry about Friday and play a better baseball game. Yep.
Here's how the World Series has played out so far. The Dodgers and Blue Jays split the first 2 in Toronto. The Jays take 2 out of 3 here in Los Angeles. Sets up Game 6 Friday, Halloween nights back in Toronto. Those games on Fox. Pre- and post-game coverage, though, right here on Sportsnet LA. Carl's Jr. moment of the game, really the only moment of the game for the Dodgers. No more Kiké Hernandez. Your called shot went deep.
I mean, really good swing by Kiké Hernandez. They were looking up. He gets to that pitch up in the zone, and he crushes that ball. Just a great swing by Kiké there. Really thought that was going to spark them. He cut the lead in half, and it was like, all right, that was a big moment, but I'll tell you what, just Savage came back and really closed down that momentum.
That was the entirety of the Dodgers offense tonight as they lose 6-1. Let's head inside right now and hear from the skipper, Dave Roberts.
Dave, the ball with Teo out there in right field, Mookie's throw, on the potential double play ball, the wild pitches, that part of the game, how disconcerting was that to you today?
Yeah, you look at giving up bases, what it changes kind of the lineup as far as who comes up, and it affects the game going forward. And things certainly get magnified in games like this, and especially when you're not swinging the bats. And so I thought tonight Blake pitched a heck of a ball game. But yeah, giving up bases and not converting outs when you have an opportunity to convert outs, that came back to bite us tonight.
And I know the bullpen obviously put in a really good performance in Game 3, but right in these other games where you've kind of had these mid-game, taking the starter out, guys on base. Is it fair to say that these bullpen problems that you guys have had for a large part of the season are maybe catching up to you in this series?
Yeah, it's hard because. You can only push a starter so much. I thought Blake emptied the tank, and you have an opportunity with the base open in the sense of, in this situation, second base with Vlad up, and I felt Henriquez was the guy to get him out. And you also have a chance to get Bichette out. I pushed Blake as much as I pushed him all year, and you look at the 3 games that we lost. It spiraled on us with guys on base. But guys have got to be better. They certainly had a good game in Game 4, whatever it was. But yeah, that's just kind of, guys have got to do their jobs. Everyone's got to do their job. And so right now, we're at elimination, and we've got to kind of wipe the slate clean and find a way to win Game 6 and pick up the pieces and see where we're at.
Far back on your right, Bill.
Doc, how concerned are you about the offense? The last 2 games, you guys are 10 for 61,
which is 164, and you also 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. How concerned are you about that?
Doesn't feel great. You clearly see those guys finding ways to get hits, move the baseball forward, and we're not doing a good job of it. I thought Yusevich was good tonight, mixing his fastball, slider, and the split. But yeah, you still have to use the whole field and take what they give you. And if they're not going to allow for slug, then you've got to be able to kind of redirect and down club down to take competitive at bats. And you see whether it's Barger or Bichette, those guys are doing it. But again, we have that ability. We've got to make some adjustments. We've seen Gossman a ton. A lot of our guys have seen him. So we just got to continue to, I just think we just got to come in fresh. And we've been, again, like I said, we've been in elimination games, a core group of these guys. And, we got to find a way to win a game. That's it.
Right up front, Doc.
Dave, can you talk to players individually, especially about hitting, things they might make an adjustment to?
The hitting guys, talk to them. I talk to them at times as far as kind of not getting into the mechanics, just more of trying to free them up to go out there and just compete. And whatever it takes to free these guys up and not try to put too much pressure on themselves, because everyone wants to perform. They're all prepared. But yeah, there's times I try to intervene and try to take a little bit of the anxiety out.
Several in the third row on your left. Katie? Oh, sorry. Who has the mic? Oh, sorry.
Dave, for the first time this postseason, your team finds itself with its back against the wall. What are some traits that you've seen from this clubhouse throughout the season that makes you feel confident they'll respond appropriately?
I think that there's a fight in there. There's a compete that I think there's more in there. I know there's more in there. We've won 2 games in a row, but again, it just comes down to one game. So I think that we've been in a lot of elimination games, and we found a way to come to the other side, get on to the other side. So I expect Yamamoto to throw well, but we still got to take good at bats and catch the baseball, convert outs, and we play a good, clean game. I feel good about our chances.
Ron, did you have one?
What did you see early going on with Blake's fastball? After Vladdy's homer, he avoided it till the final pitch of the second.
Well, I thought clearly early they were aggressive to the fastball. Schneider, Vladdy, and then, he got the Bichette strikeout on some breaking balls, and I think then he just kind of settled into the game, and I honestly thought he threw the ball well. He gave us everything he had, so I think that early on they were just on the fastball, and you got to sort of adjust it if that's the case.
Go to AJ in that row.
Dave, obviously you changed the lineup up a little bit today and similar results. Where does that leave you going into Game 6 and 7 with what the lineup might look like in Toronto?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really had time to think through it, but it's kind of whatever I feel is best to take down Gossman. So I'm not sure if it's Mookie in the 2, Mookie in the 3, Freddie in the 3. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, regardless of who we run out there or what construct, we still got to take good at bats, all of us, and so that's what I'm betting on. But I haven't really thought yet about the lineup construction.
Well, the Blue Jays got 5 runs off of Blake Snell for the second time in this World Series, including those back-to-back home runs to start Game 5. Let's head right back inside and hear from Blake Snell with the media.
Oh, Blake, just with how this game started, what do you think allowed them to get to you so early before you were able to settle in?
It didn't really get to me. It was first pitch of the game, 97 fastball up and in. He hits at 98, it goes out. Pretty unlucky. And then Vlad, that's just a bad pitch, and then fastball. But then after that, pretty smooth sailing. Figured out their lineup, what they like to do. Then Varsho gets a triple on a 78 exit velo. It's just unlucky. Yeah, I'm not one to make excuses or anything close to that, but just pretty unlucky. There's only so much you can do. To where, that's unlucky. And then the 7th inning there, good pitch. I mean, just, yeah, hits the ball in play. Barger hits the ball in play, and then walk the 9-hole guy that has struck out twice already. Just got to be better there. And then, yeah.
When you look at just kind of how you were looking to kind of close this one out, the pitch count getting up, was there a part of you that was kind of just like, how do I kind of dig deep to navigate this back end of your outing?
No, I mean, I was throwing 97, 98 at the end. I felt good. I feel strong. Yeah, I mean, I've been training to be ready for this and be strong, and I felt good. Yeah, like I trust me. So, yeah, just frustrating.
Seems like you went away from the fastball a little bit after the Vlad homer. Is that sort of just reacting to what they were clearly trying to do early in counts against you?
I mean, Vlad's, he's a really good hitter, so you gotta, do stuff there. But the rest of the lineup, yeah, they're like ambushing. I mean, I'll probably, if we get to Game 7, then I'll see him again. So I can't say much, but no, I mean, yeah, I said, yeah, Vlad, good hitter. Schneider, I mean, he hit it 1 mile an hour harder than I threw it. Good location. Varso triple, curveball, capped. Like, luck plays in baseball too. Yeah, so, yeah.
Do you feel like you went away from the fastball for 22 pitches after that home run to Vladdy? Did you feel like you were leaving a tell?
A tell?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't think there's tells. I just think they're ambushing a fastball, especially after I go, I'm going to throw fastballs,
It's got to get closer.
Yeah, I don't think there's tells. I just read swings, and yeah, they're ambushing, and as they should, as I thought they would, and yeah.
Do you feel like you made some good adjustments from the last time in Toronto?
Yeah, but numbers will say different. They got 5 runs. That's what matters. But back up a little bit. Yeah, just tough.
You mentioned, wanting to be available for Game 7. Do you feel like you can put yourself in a good position to be?
Yeah, I'll be ready. Yeah, for sure.
Dodgers did have 7 strikeouts tonight, right on the number. So tomorrow you can go to Jack in the Box, get a free Jumbo Jack with a purchase of a large drink. Tonight it was all about Blake Snell. He had all 7 strikeouts for the Dodgers. Unfortunately, it comes in a losing effort as the Toronto Blue Jays take Game 5, 6-1 the final. Let's head inside and hear from Will Smith right now with the media.
Well, how do you guys mentally reset after a night like this with at least a little bit of an off day in between?
Yeah, it's going to be a long flight tonight. Get in, get some rest. Recover tomorrow. Be ready to go.
This team obviously battled back last year against the Padres. You've been in this position before. What can you learn from that experience with your backs up against the wall?
Yeah, just keep fighting. Keep hitting back. Just go one pitch at a time. Offensively, one pitch at a time. Defensively, one pitch at a time. Just keep fighting.
What was Savage just doing today? It was just totally different than Game 1.
Yeah, he was throwing strikes. He was landing a splitter. He's landing a slider. Was throwing heaters in the zone. Just executing pitches. He pitched really well.
What did you think of Snell?
I thought he pitched really well. Honestly, the first 2 homers lead off the game. Then he kind of settled in. Gave up the 1 run a little later, but I thought he pitched well.
Are you surprised how aggressive you were with fastballs, especially early in that game?
No.
Well, going into a closeout game for them, you guys, like you mentioned, you guys been in that spot before, being down 2-1. How confident are you guys? I mean, obviously the bats you're slumping a little bit. Obviously good pitching, but confident going in there and being able to get this thing to 7.
Yeah, no, we trust each other. We believe we're the best team in baseball. We've had our backs against the wall a lot this year, fighting through injuries, fighting through expectations and all that. This is a tough group, and I got no problem going in behind 2 games, going in there and winning 2 games, and we'll be ready for that.
How good does it feel to know that your next pitcher is Yamamoto, though?
Yeah, he pitched great last time. We're going to need him. We're going to need a good start out of him, let the offense get ahead, and force Game 7 after that.
For you personally, I mean, it's basically been 4 games in 3 days, and you've been in the catcher's position for all of it. What is it going to be like to just get off your knees for a day?
Yeah, I'm going to maximize it. Yeah, it's tough. That's why I try to stay in shape, be able to handle the workload, and whatever we need to do to help win is I'm ready for that.
All right, so the Dodgers will be hopping on a plane heading to Toronto in the very near future. Right now, though, let's head back inside the clubhouse and hear from Max Muncy with the media.
Okay, Max, obviously not the outcome you guys wanted. What were your thoughts on the game, and how do you turn the page?
Pretty bad performance by us, but at the same time, pretty incredible performance by the kid on the mound on the other team. He didn't really give us anything to hit. He located the spots very well, and he just executed, and we didn't take advantage of anything.
What did you make of the lineup changes for you guys tonight, and ultimately, what do you need to do to find that rhythm that you guys have been looking for?
We got to hit the ball. We got to hit the ball. You look at what they're doing; they put the ball in play a lot, and it's finding spots, and we're not putting the ball in play a lot. And when we do, it seems to be finding their gloves. So we got to find a way to get the ball in play a lot more, and luck will turn.
What was your message to the guys after this one?
I mean, it sucks, but get a day off. We'll go there, and you just got to win one game. You win one game at a time. That's what I keep saying all the time. And it's not gonna be easy, but you can't think about trying to win 2 games on the road. You just take it, as I said, one game at a time, and that's all we're focused on. Is we got to win this next game.
What did you say to Blake Snell tonight?
What was that?
What did you say to Blake Snell tonight?
I mean, I thought he threw the ball well, and you look at the first 2 homers. It wasn't like the balls were down the middle. They just got good swings off, and I thought Blake threw good.
Is there any difference in Savage in Game 1 versus today?
Yeah, he located every single pitch he wanted to today. Game 1 he didn't necessarily have the best command, and then today I don't think he missed a single spot, with the exception of down below the zone, which is what he wants to do, and he didn't give us anything to take advantage of.
Well, when a guy's offense has been struggling for a little while, pretty much since the Red Series, what do you see going on?
We're just not having good at bats.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know.
What was he doing to get ahead in the count so often against you guys tonight? It seems like he was just kind of putting you guys on the back foot most of the at-bats.
I mean, he was throwing strikes. He's throwing strikes below the zone. Obviously, the approach is to try to get him up, and he didn't hardly throw anything up in the zone. He just kept it all down, and he was getting strikes, and it's tough to battle against that.
Well, when that's happening, what kind of adjustments do you guys try to make for that?
I mean, that's a hard adjustment to make, because you can't start chasing the ball down, because then he just starts going lower in the zone. You guys have heard me say it. If the pitcher is executing how he wants, it's not going to be a very fun day in the batter's box. And that's kind of a little bit what happened tonight. We obviously had some bad at bats and didn't do our best, but at the same time, he did a really incredible job.
You guys are struggling to score runs. How much more difficult is it when the defense doesn't play up to what it usually does? Just compound what you need to do.
I don't know.
Max, a year ago, you guys were down 2-1 to the Padres. You win that series. Lean into anything there with experience to carry it over?
Sure. Like I said, you just have to take it one game right now, and we'll get an off day tomorrow. We'll have a workout day, and just refresh everyone's minds, and you can't quit. We're not going to quit. We guys focus on the next game ahead.
This was Clayton Kershaw's final time wearing the home whites for a game right now. He's on the field taking it all in before he and the guys hop on a plane for Toronto for Game 6. Oral, his final act, escaping a bases-loaded jam there in Game 3, which was so much fun to watch.
Final act in front of the home fans, yes. Over 70 games, over 500 on his personal record in his career is absolutely ridiculous. You know what? It's bittersweet. It's really bittersweet to think that he's going to be done, because there's so many memories for Dodger fans and everything that he's done for the organization, the community, and everything that he and Ellen have done with their work. So to watch him walk out there in street clothes and know that he's not going to put the home whites on anymore, my heart hurts right now.
Yeah, well, he takes it in, but at the same time, he
he can still be on there one more time for like a parade and celebration. And that means more than anything. And I'm sure that the players are thinking about that. They can still do it. I know fans right now are feeling it. They're like, oh, my goodness. But listen, it's a best of 7 for a reason.
Yep.
And, yeah, it's going to be sad that Kershaw goes out there, is no longer going to be putting on that white uniform. But at the same time, it'd be a lot sweeter if he's raising that trophy back in here at Dodger Stadium, celebrating. So, you know what? They can make that happen. And let's all hope and root and shed positive energy so that does happen.
Go take care of business in Toronto. But before they hop on a plane, let's go back inside and hear from Kiké Hernandez with the media.
We are, seems like at bats are snowballing on us right now. We getting pitches to hit, we're missing them, and then we're expanding the zone with 2 strikes. And I think the best thing that can happen for us is a day off, get a day to regroup and, figure it out. But as a group, it's time for us to, show our character and put up a fight, and, see what happens.
Has there not been enough of a fight?
I wouldn't say that it hasn't been enough of a fight. It's just last night we were a little bit flat, and then tonight, 3 pitches into the game, we were down 2-0, and, he was on. Savage was on. That slider was really good. And, hitting creates energy, and we weren't getting hits. So we weren't really doing whatever it took to find that energy. And, it's tough right now, but I think we're going to be all right.
Last year's team dug out against San Diego. Is this your team capable of the same thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're a more talented team than we were last year, and we found a way to do it last year. And I thought we were in a bigger hole given the situation with our pitching staff last year. So right guy at the right time on the mound for us in Game 6, Yoshinobu, and it's time for us for the offense to show up. What was Savage doing to get ahead in the count as much as he was tonight? Strikes. His slider was really good tonight. I think the slider was a difference maker. It was harder and tighter than it was in Toronto, and we weren't really able to pick it up. And then his split is pretty good, and just seemed like we were. I don't know if we're just in between, kinda, and kudos to him, but we just got to be better. It seemed like you guys have been in between a couple times during the postseason. Like when you get in that mode, how is an offense you guys get out of it? Find out. I don't have an answer right now, but we'll find out.
It was the lone highlight for the Dodgers here in Game 5. Nomar, Kiké Hernandez all over that pitch from Trey Savage and hit it into the seats.
Yeah, we're going to have to go Access 360 and really look at this home run because it was the one good swing that the Dodgers had today. We heard some of the interviews afterwards looking for that pitch up, and he gets one. It's a 2-1 pitch. It's a fastball in her half. Kiké also mentioned about times we're getting some pitches and we're missing them, right? And then you end up chasing. Well, the Savage was on point. Don't get me wrong. He was throwing the ball really well, but you have to take advantage of the miscues, and Kiké does right here. Puts a great swing on the ball. Got the ball up in the zone the way where the barrel started on his swing, came down, and then finished through as he drives this out of the ballpark. When he hit that, he knew he got to hit it a long way. Puts on a beautiful swing. And, man, the place was erupting. Everybody was excited, thinking that they were going to go from there. But, it didn't happen. But nonetheless, hopefully for the next games to come, that unlocked something for Kiké. The confidence and everything continues because we know the damage and what he can do in the postseason.
As a lineup, they've really got to get off of the high fastball as far as popping it up. And as a lineup, they have to get off of the low breaking balls and chasing them. In some ways, we watch our at-bats right now, and you don't even need to set the hitters up. And I think the hitters were right tonight with all the ones we've heard interviews from. He was getting ahead, and it is much harder to hit in those counts. Yeah. And he was locating, not precisely locating on corners, but he was locating at the bottom of the strike zone throughout and then getting you to chase with those 2 breaking balls.
A pitcher like your Savage, you're supposed to look up because of the way he pitches, and they did that. And they said, if he locates down, it makes it difficult. Yep. And we even see that from some of our pitchers, was like, if they're able to establish that fastball down in the zone, look out, especially when you see guys like Yamamoto, guys with split fingers, Tyler Glasnow, because as a hitter, you're trying to get these guys up. But when you have to look at that down and then you have to try to attack it, it makes it really difficult. Savage did that today, and that's
when
what
the
made
ball's
him
down,
effective.
you only see half the ball. You really do. You got to figure out where do you want to hit it, right? No, because I know that even as when we hit in our day, when the ball is thigh high or above, you see the whole baseball. It's a lot easier to read the spin. It's a lot easier to read where it's going to go. But for me, as a pitcher, I'm trying to create that angle and get it so you have to attack it, and then I'm trying to make it go farther down. And so he created those windows here tonight.
Impressive stuff tonight by the 22-year-old right-hander for the Blue Jays, Trey Savage, with his 12 strikeouts, no walks, and a win. Dodgers only managed 4 hits tonight in Game 5. Teoscar Hernandez had half of those hits. Right now, he's speaking with the media.
On the right field lines that just couldn't get there to cut it off, that happened? The ball that went for the triple?
No, I just went to catch it and feel short, and I try to get there.
You guys have always had a pretty good defense this year, no matter what's going on with the offense. Was just any reason for just one weird game that everything kind of went haywire defensively with the wild pitches and the pass balls? And
it's just part of the game. It's nothing big. It just we didn't have it today.
How much of the offensive struggles do you think is like, well, look, it's a lot harder to hit in the playoffs, obviously, like tonight with the Savage, and how much is it, well, we need to do X, X, and X better as a unit?
I think we just has to be with better selection of the pitches that we want to swing at it. We just have to get a better plan. Not trying to do too much of the pitches that they throw in. And like you said, every pitcher in the playoffs, they're going to make the best pitches and the best location that they can possibly make. And we just have to adjust to that and just trying to do damage in the ones that we know we can handle.
So you guys have offense been like, too aggressive?
It just depends of the game, sometimes we too aggressive, sometimes we too patient. It's just finding the balance and just putting together good at-bats.
Teo, you guys have played basically 4 games in 3 days. How needed is an off day tomorrow?
I mean, it's travel is tough, but yeah, just a little bit of room to reset and just trying to go for it on Friday.
All right, World Series heads back to Toronto for Game 6 Friday nights. Yoshinobu Yamamoto will be on the mound. He's coming off back-to-back complete games. Oral, what do you want to see from Yoshi in a must-win game for the Dodgers?
Like Blake, you want to see him establish the fastball command, but with him, watch out for the ambushes early, and maybe you're going to be throwing some first-pitch curveballs, some first-pitch splits, because this Toronto team is showing that they want to be aggressive early in the count, especially on the heater.
Well, we'd like to see another complete game. That's your question. Nice. I mean, we would all love to see that and what he has done, but you just need him to go out there and be on point and give these guys a chance to win. We really need the offense to really just help him out, give some run support as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, Nomar. You can't win if you can't score, right. And the Dodgers have really struggled to score the last 2 nights. They also struggled to score against Kevin Gausman in Game 2, who they will be facing in Game 6. At one point, Gausman retired 17 in a row.
Yeah, you have to just make the adjustment. But I think there are times we've seen over the course of this series, even in that game against Gausman, they had pitches they should hit, or they could have hit well. They just did it. They either missed it, mishit it, popped it up, fouled it off, or swing it and miss it. It's being able to capitalize on those you should be hitting.
You know what? I look at this team. We are wired to never give up, and we still have life. So, You know what? Friday, let's get them.
You only have to win one game, and that's Friday's Game 6. For Nomar, Oral, and Kirsten, I'm John. Thanks for watching. We will see you Friday, 4 o'clock on Sportsnet LA.
またしても終盤に突き放され勝機を失ったドジャース。ロバーツ監督の采配は全てが終わった後にジャッジされることになるでしょう。何よりもチーム全体から覇気が感じられないのが気になります。蓄積された疲労が限界に達しているのでしょうか。そして山本由伸投手、オリックス時代から何度もチームを救ってきた右腕にまたも命運が託されることになりました。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。